Hello and good afternoon, and welcome to Speaking the Truth About Money with Martin Cowart and Joy the Wise Woman. And we have a special guest today, Aaron Pavia Leyton. He has a tourist company about Peru. So what we want to talk about today is, as we always do, is is money mindset and how we think about money. And when we were talking earlier with Aaron before we came on live, I was talking about what I call the scarcity mindset or the scarcity economy pre-pandemic versus the post-pandemic abundance economy. And I was just asking him to talk a little bit about what they've learned in Peru and about themselves in regards to what's true about the world and what they can share, what he can share with us about what the Peruvians have learned about the world. I mean, they live in a country full of beautiful abundance. And that's the truth of where we are. And I want to be able to bring all that home. But before we get into all that, though, Aaron, I really would like you to introduce yourself and tell us how you became the guru when it comes to traveling in Peru and understanding not just the country, the exterior countryside, but also the interior landscape of the Peruvian people.
Well, hello, Martin, and welcome to all your audience. Yes, I am from Peru. I actually live in Peru, but right now I'm located in Washington, D.C., and I can share with you why I'm here in the United States. But yes, this is an honor to be here. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak about, a little bit of how it was the journey for a person from South America, from Peru, over this pandemic, and how I think it's going to be in the future. So to your question about how everything started, I have to actually, I think this is the perfect space to share the life story that I have, how I create Tour Guide Peru. This is coming back to 2009 when I was falling in love to this marvelous guy. His name was Matt. And in some way he was the producer of a Tour Guide Peru, and he wanted me to be the one in charge and create this wonderful experience to reach to Machu Picchu, which is a very spiritual place. So we were working on that before we launched Tour Guide Peru, and unfortunately, cancer came across our life, and all the projects were on hold for a while until unfortunately I lose him. So you can imagine, you can choose between, you can go under your covers, or you continue and work. And that was what I did. I promised this guy that I was going to be okay, and I was going to continue the journey that we were trying to make together back in Peru. He was from Tampa. So that's what I did from the last 10 years, or actually more now, to work.
Let me just recap that. That's a wonderful story, and you went a little too fast over a couple of pieces that I think that we want to just slow down a little bit about.
Yes.
And I love this story. This is a juicy story. So you fell in love with this guy who, I guess you fell in love with him in Peru.
I know. Actually, I was visiting Tampa, and that's where we fell in love.
Okay, so you fell in love with this fella from Tampa when you were visiting Tampa, and he fell in love with you, and he was in the tourist business, and y'all came up with this wonderful idea to bring tourism into Peru through your eyes, from that place of love and passion for your country. And in the meantime, he came down with cancer, and he died in the middle of all that, and that's painful in itself. So I'm particularly, you're a young man, and happening at a young age, that's pretty painful. But so what I'm hearing though is that you had a choice. You could either say, okay, well, but in honor of him, in honor of that relationship, in honor of his love for you and for him, you decided to move forward with the project, and that's where the seeds of this of your company started from this project. Basically, it was a project of love, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And let me tell you one thing. And right now, I'm already make peace, with my mind, with the family, because if you start making the calculations, this is back over 12 years, and the family was not right with, the relationship that he had. So I didn't even had any pictures at the end of, this process. They were just after the money, but I make peace on that side long time ago. I forgive them, but of course I keep them a part of my life. But I make this company about what we were thinking, what we were trying to make for, to project about Peru, and that's what I was doing the last years. So for me to face this pandemic that we were, it affect the whole world, I will say that I will put it this way: pain was not new for me. If I will make you understand in a moment, because yes, I make my best to make all these refunds to travelers that couldn't make it to Peru, and I was following the news and how it's going to be, how is this developing, and what it would be the best way to continue on business. And long story short, because I saw my friends in tourism, I saw people, and I lose people. I didn't want to get actually sick for a couple of reasons. It's too expensive to get sick back in Peru. And when they start opening the vaccine for anybody in the United States back in April, I decided to grab my one suitcase and come here, and not to get sick, and not because of me only, probably because of my age. I could be a survivor, but I didn't want to affect my mother and my father. So that was the main reason why I left Peru to get the vaccine. And because of different reasons, and my friends around Washington, D.C., and no bookings yet, I've been remaining in Washington, and probably until October, when I will go back to Peru and start promoting Peru
Yeah,
back.
and
Yes.
I love the driver of your story. You didn't go to get the vaccine out of fear. Out of I want to get I want to do anything to get. You did it out of love, and that's a point. That's a mindset shift. I mean, we can do the same thing. We can do the exact same thing. We can do it from a place of fear, or we can do it from a place of love. And
Mhm.
if we choose to do it from a place of love, everything changes. The dynamics changes. The doing of it changes. And you came here for a love of your life, and a love for your family, and a way, and you want to protect that life and your family. So I want people to hear that because there's a big debate right now in this country about getting vaccinated. And if you and I want to encourage you, if you've not gotten vaccinated, do it from a place of love. Don't do it from a place of fear. When that you know fear is what fear is. But for God's sakes, do it from a place of loving. God said, love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. That's the only commandment. And getting the vaccine is an act of love. It is simply an act of love. And if you can approach it from that truth, from that mindset of truth, everything can shift. So I just wanted to back up and just acknowledge you for being that man who came all the way from Peru out of love for his own life and love for his family and love for his mission in the world, that he had to come here and take care of himself and get vaccinated. So thank you for that.
No, thank you, and then thank you to the country and the doctors of the Holy Cross there in Fort Lauderdale that opened their arms and says, we are here to help and to save lives. So that's what, you know when I got the first shot, it was a celebration back at home, because it was not available for anybody. Well, for not for my age. It just started just recently. Um, and if I'm here, it's not just because I decided to come, it's the help of many friends that I have around the United States that make this happen. And I could feel the love. And that's what it is. We give love and we receive love. This is a circle. And I feel like, in this right moment, I receive it. I receive it, and I'm very happy for it, and I feel blessed, really.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a beautiful story. So, so now we're you're here, you're
Mhm.
vaccinated, and are things getting better in Peru for people to get vaccinated?
Things are a little bit still at the edge, and that's because we are facing a very controversial new president, which is, we had two people that it was running for president at the end, and both of them were going to be at the end controversial. So it is kind of like Peru is getting into place right now. We are gonna need a few more months so people can actually trust who is going to be running the country. But of course, we're still facing the COVID. So, and of course, it's not just that Peru has to face COVID; it's the rest of the world, because we are in hospitality, we are talking constantly with travelers, and if you are not vaccinated, that's going to be one of my policies, is you have to show a proof that you've been vaccinated, and not only the proof that you don't have COVID at the moment to arrive to Peru. So my company, and that's because of the protection of the rest of the crew. People think that, oh, tour guide Peru is just Aaron, and Aaron is the only one to run the show. And I always say this: I have at least 10 people behind me backstage that is helping me in one or the other way. If it's not getting tickets, it's getting ready for my car, or it's getting ready for the transportation of my travelers. Even the people who is in the hotels, I consider them backstage. And because of the respect of all their lives, that's why my company, when we come back to business, we are going to request vaccine proof. Not only that it's
I,
negative.
I think that is wonderful, because and that's not foreign. We require people to get vaccinated. We require people to get shot. I mean, I don't know why they act like this is so new. Like, even in the military, we've
Hmm.
been requiring people to take protection and precautionary measures when they're available, all for years in this country, and in the military. And I think you're doing exactly the right thing. You just do the right thing, and yeah, you're protecting everybody. And it's an act. It's a decision made from love. It's to protect the people that you care about.
Exactly, exactly. And this is after, it took a month, the whole process with the vaccination, but the rest of the trip right now, that it's part of a little vacations. So I will see this as an opportunity, because every time I visit the United States, it was just for a convention or a conference. And I just arrived the day it started, and I left the day it finished. And I never had the chance to really see the country and enjoy the wonderful people and enjoy my friends. So let's see the positivity of this, because of this time that I have a little bit off. I can actually walk around. I just came back from the post office, and I shipped couple stuff from for friends in Canada. Uh, and it's just these little things that still, if we talk about Peru, that's still in lockdown, and they have to still wear not only the mask but also the face shield, and it's limited people in every place. I am having a blast right now. I'm kind of go back to normal, and I'm very blessed for that. So yes, I'm learning from this experience. Um, Going back in
Yeah,
the near future to put it all in practice.
very good. Because as you're getting to understand the interior landscape of the American people,
Hmm.
and and I think that's only going to expand your ability to empathize with the American people who are coming to your country, as who are trying
Exactly.
to understand. Because now you can become even more relatable to them. 'Cause that's what people. That's why I travel. I mean, it's nice to see all the beautiful landscapes and different things, but I really want to know what people live like, what they think, and one of the ways that I do it, I travel everywhere. I'm a grocery store hound. I
Yes,
love grocery stores, and
me too.
there's nothing better, no better way than to get to know a community than to
Mhm.
go to their grocery stores. And this may sound crazy to you, but
No, not at
when I
all, not at
when
all. I am one of those. I am the one who consider that a foodie is not the person who go to the most expensive restaurant. Is the one that go to a grocery store and see what's the difference between your culture and their culture, and start
exactly.
trying.
That's exactly what I do. My husband's from Puerto Rico, and I'm a cook, so I mean I like cooking and I'm a good cook. So I love going down when I go to Puerto Rico. They've got their restaurants, but the ones that I like are the little family-run businesses that are on the ocean side, and I love going to the grocery stores and just
Mhm.
even the big supermarkets, because while there's so much the same, there's a whole different feeling to the store about what their priorities are, what they like the most, how they think. It's all right there in the grocery store. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing, and you know that. Well, part of the what I'm doing here, I continue teaching English and Spanish online. That's one thing that I've been doing over the pandemic, for example. So I've been recreating myself. Last year with my mother, we were running the second volume of my mother's kitchen live from Peru, from her kitchen, with completely different recipes, and I've been working with Matt Scaler from Pink Media, and we're running these amazing also interviews. But just recently, and that's because you were talking about food, and that's because I love food. I've been running this little blog. I mean, like I don't expect that I'm going to be rich from that, but I enrich my soul. That is called "I'm Not Julia Child," but and
I
we're gonna
love
launch the
that.
fourth episode soon, and it's live here on Facebook. So if you wanna see me having fun and just fun, so you have to friend me on Facebook.
I think we are friends, but I want to come watch your live show. I love watching cooking shows, and I would love to learn more about how to cook uh, Peruvian foods. I don't know.
Well, no, this is something that it's gonna. This intention of I'm not Julia Chalice, because if I can do it, anybody can do it. We are making some very simple recipes that it can save your life and not eat fast food all the time. So that's the idea.
I love it. And I got a little secret to tell you about me in Peru.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to Peru, but I used
Yes.
to I used to have a coffee shop in Lower Manhattan from 1993 until 2001. It was called the Bassett Cafe, and we had I had a roaster in Brooklyn, and
Mm-hmm.
he was a seventh generation roasting company. They were fabulous, and he helped me develop my own house brew, my own house blend, and the base coffee was Peruvian, because Peruvian coffee is sort of a neutral coffee, I learned. And so we combined Sumatran, which has a nice mouthfeel, with Costa Rican, which has a very nice taste, with Peruvian, which kind of pulled it all together without sort of fighting the flavors. And we came up with a really, really wonderful blend of coffees for our house blend. And Peru, coffee from Peru was our major. I don't know that Peru coffee by itself, it's not a real popular product out there, but when you blend that with other
Mm-hmm.
coffee flavors, it's a wonderful sort of a base, if you will.
Yeah, of course we are not Colombia, but we have some varieties that are pretty good. And like you do, it's to combine it. We're a country with different flavors, and it's not that you just eat one flavor; you make the combination. And now talking about coffee, and that's one detail that I know. The one that you should look on one of these online stores. I'm not gonna say any name. They are not paying me for that, but you have to look for Tunki, coffee Tunki from Peru, Tunky, Tunki, and this is one of the world famous coffee beans, and it's not that expensive, so you should look
I
for it
will. I will
online.
definitely try it. And I actually use one. I use kind of the old that they use in South America, where they have the press where they put the water in the
Mhm.
bottom, and they put the coffee in the middle, and then it comes up and it makes like an espresso, and that's how I make my coffee. So
That's the best way.
yeah, I think so. It makes the best. It's fresh, makes the best flavor, and then I mix it with about half of foamed oat milk. But it's really wonderful. I'm going to try that coffee. Thank you so much for that tip. So let's
Mhm.
go back to that. Boy, we can get off all kind of tangents, but I want to go back to that original question of and the idea. And I talk a lot about this these days is what I call the post-pandemic abundance economy. What we've learned about ourselves. What would you say? You were kind of touching on that, but what would you say? How would you call this the impact of this on you and your business and tourism, and where you see us going in the future in this more abundant economy?
Definitely, tourism or any business that involves to work with people directly is not going to be the same in the future. That's for sure. And this is a time where we have to learn how it's going to be not just to manage clients, but also how you're going to protect your own people from your business. So just thinking about tourism right now, and I've been seeing this, unfortunately, that they are trying to sell the product of Peru as it was before. And I'm sorry, that's not the way that it's going to work in the future. A part of all these new regulations and papers that people has to fill out in the country that you are living and the country that you are arriving, this is going to change the whole story. You have to give comfort to the new travelers. That's the one thing. So to rush on reactivate tourism right now, it will damage everything, because people, I just have two friends that just came back from Europe, and they told me yesterday they had a wonderful time, but all the hassle that they had to deal with filling out papers in every country that they were trying to pass, or just going to a show, or just going to a restaurant, it make it so difficult. And the thing is that people is like, oh yeah, we're gonna create a questionnaire that you have to fill out, but they don't even know how it works, and so that you cannot help your own clients. So we have to evaluate what is going to be the future, and that personal touch, the personal touch that we as Tour Guide Peru we've been providing over years. We I had to say, the pandemic start, we have to make a stop. I cannot just rush and throw my business there and make it suffer. We are still learning, and
I,
yes, we don't
I
have.
I love this, and what I call the difference between the sort of scarcity mindset, scarcity
Mhm.
economy, pre-pandemic, and the post-pandemic abundance economy is, where do you put people in the equation? In a scarcity mindset economy, you put people after profits. It's
Mhm.
all about the money. Who cares? We just want to make the money, and that's what money, money, money. It's all about the profits. When we shift, and we had companies here, and you probably were one yourself in Peru, but I
Mhm.
think that's what the world is shifting to. When you put people first, when you really care about the service you're giving, the protection, everything, when you put people first, profits will follow.
Mhm.
And that is the underlying idea, concept, and truth behind an abundance economy. When you know that people come from abundance, and people, and protecting people and giving people what they want, giving them what they deserve, making them feel loved and protected and cared for first, then the profits will always follow. But you don't lead with out of, and when you're leading with profits, you're leading with fear. You're leading with, I'm
Mhm.
afraid I'm not going to have enough money to run my business. We need to shift that around and say, no, I need to make sure I have enough customers who love and trust me in my business to want to do business with us at my business, and I know that if I do that, the profits will follow.
For sure, all this year, make reevaluate everything. I'm still reevaluating or finishing reevaluating how it's going to be Tour Guide Peru in the future. And the people who know me, and if they are watching, we are coming back for sure, but we're gonna come back in a more safe environment for everybody. And that's at my website. I haven't changed it. I know that other people in tourism already are moving forward. But like you said, yes, I prefer to take these baby steps before I just jump to the pool.
I want to jump over to another thing that I'm really curious about. On my bucket list, this is a ayahuasca experience. And
Hmm.
we know that Peru is the leader in that
Yes.
ritual. And there's a lot of myths about it. There are a lot of things that are true. There are a lot, and there are a lot of, and I know from our conversations in the past, there are even people in the tourism who sort of like promoted it in not really a good way.
Hmm.
I'd like to hear from you what your thoughts of that particular journey, and how you guide people to it and through it, etc. And without all the nonsense that we get. So
About ayahuasca and taking this is, I would say, a small journey to reach to your soul. I had few requests. I never book an ayahuasca for
yeah,
anybody. That not because I didn't have the request. It never get through. But one thing I have for sure in my mind is if my travelers are doing the ayahuasca, I am going to be the one that is not having it, just to make sure that they are okay with that.
okay,
That's one thing, and it's been always like that. So it's like we are going to a restaurant sometimes, when we're in Cusco, and I'm the one that it's not drinking because I have to take care of the rest.
right,
And that's, I know that there are different stories out there that people, male, women, had issues because nobody took care of them. And I know few companies that actually provide the service. And if this request comes, I'm going to go with them. And for sure, one of the guys, if it's not me, is going to be there not taking the ayahuasca just to protect the travelers.
yeah,
That's one thing for
absolutely,
sure.
uh-huh. And I know that as people have woken up to the truth, have had there's been a lot of spiritual awakening for me. It's for me and a lot of
Yes.
people that I talk to. Actually, this show was an hour show that I did every day during the pandemic called Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour, and it was a sanctuary for people to come all over the world to pray and meditate and feel secure. So, and I know from that experience that a lot more people in the world are awakened to the truth, that spiritual component of themselves. And I would imagine that, as that happens, ayahuasca. I have a number of friends and spiritual teachers who've used that kind of plant medicine, and it can be very powerful and very good if it's done in the right, like anything done in the right way. So,
But let me tell you one thing, and this is about Cusco, and this is because I've been there around on the Sacred Valley many times, especially the Inca Trail. I've been twice. Um, you don't need to get any specific drug or any specific beverage to connect with your spirit.
no,
If you want in a spiritual trip over the Sacred Valley, which is one of the most amazing scenarios to do it, and if you can do the Inca Trail, I had it. I had that wonderful experience with the nature. The best of either the Inca Trail or taking the Salcantay is that you don't have the connection with technology. And that's probably one of the best ways to actually connect with yourself. And depending on the guide that you have, the tour guide that you have with you, is going to help you to reach a spiritual point in the journey. And you don't have to take the ayahuasca.
I love that. So what you're telling me is that there's actually another way to have a
Mhm.
spiritual experience in these are places in Peru.
Yes, just visiting around. This the city of Cusco. It's marvelous. It's in between the Inca
Well,
architecture
if
and the
I were
Spanish
you,
architecture. But going over the Sacred Valley and reaching Machu Picchu, and with an open mind, that what you are seeing is gonna take you to an spiritual point. So that's what I personally I offer all the time. That I like to know from my travelers what's the reason why you are coming to Peru.
I think that is priceless information there. I mean, I think because I mean, I'm not a, I've just ayahuasca is one thing. I mean, I
Mhm.
may do in Costa Rica. I haven't done it yet, and I don't know when I am, but it is on my bucket list. But I love what you're saying right now about there's an alternative way to
Yes.
visit Peru that will take you on a deep spiritual journey inside yourself, and I can show you that as well. And you have a choice. You can take it. You can go with me, and I've done it, and I haven't. I'm going to say you've not done ayahuasca. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So you can say,
Because
and you can just be, I've not done that, but I've had some very awakening spiritual moments on these journeys, and I'd be happy to take you on that, and I'll be happy to introduce you to some people who do legitimate, good, credible ayahuasca
Mhm.
journeys as well. But I think that the fact that you personally, that's what we want. We want a tour guide who's personally experienced And I think that is priceless. The fact that there is, I didn't know that until now.
There is one thing that is around the Sacred Valley, and it's in Quechua language we call Mother Pachamama, the Mother Earth, which is the one and the reason why the Inca society started growing from that point, which is Cusco. And talking about being a foodie, and this is very well connected with my trips. There is one session that we have after a long day, after 5 hours touring around the Sacred Valley. We ended up in this lovely boutique hotel, and in the backyard where they have all the garden, we make this food that is cooked under the ground, and my travelers participate part of that. That is called pachamanca, and the Peruvians that are here and they know what is a pachamanca. But we cook in the old-fashioned technique, and just understanding the reason why the Asian people used to cook this way, with all the potatoes, the corn that it's being just taken from couple steps next to you, and then you are enjoying this around this Sacred Valley, around this marvelous mountain that is the Andes Mountains. That's the real connection. That's the real connection that your own journey it's taken with the environment.
Well, I can't wait until you get back into operation, because I'm coming on your spiritual journey with you in Peru as soon as you get back into operation, because that sounds so inviting. And I am a spiritual seeker, and I'm a spiritual teacher, so I would absolutely love to come down and see your country with you and experience these sacred places. That sounds so inviting, and thank you. And I see we're actually past the half hour, which is amazing, because I've had such a great time talking with you. What is the best way, the easiest way for people to get in touch with you to find out about your cooking and your tours?
Right now, I'm not posting much on my website, which is tourguideperu.com, but you can actually go and take and have a look. What we offer before, and that's gonna have kind of the same structure. But right now, I would say go to Facebook, look for my name, Aaron Pavia Leyton, as it is over there at the banner. I will be very happy to friend you on my Facebook, because that's what I'm getting very interactive with people. Ask me questions. I'm having a lot of fun doing this cooking shows, which is and you're gonna see the banner. I'm not Julia Child, but we're gonna talk about. And
I love it. I'm going to be there. So hold 1 second. I'm going to close this out and say thank you to you for being with us today. And thank you to our audience for listening. And if you're watching the replay or listening to the podcast, thank you so much for being here. And may love and prosperity prevail. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A big hug from here.